Today on PGTV News, American writer Edgar Allan Poe will celebrate his 204th birthday on January 19th. In honor of this upcoming day, we explore a local coffee house where Poe spent his honeymoon. Also on today's show, a close-up look at the anniversary of the Supreme Court case Hazelwood versus Kohlmeyer involving student censorship. In our 2-minute drill, we take a look back at the week in sports. Welcome, Royals. Today is Thursday, January 17th, 2013, and I'm your anchor, Dialva Glaspie. In 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, English students explore stories of the mystery and death through the works of Edgar Allan Poe. On the eve of his birthday, reporters Jasmine Lackey, Dialva Glaspie, and producer Megan Johnson bring the story of a local coffee shop owner who has brought back to life a place from Poe's past.
The original Hiram Haynes Coffee House was opened in 1829 and it was open until 1836. And it was opened by Hiram Haynes, who was the editor of the local paper, and he was also a friend of Edgar Allan Poe's. And in 1836, when Poe had his honeymoon, this is where he stayed, and so that's our claim to fame. So when I moved to Petersburg, I learned about this building and this history, and I wasn't quite sure about it, so I checked into it, did a lot of research, and made sure it was true, and then decided to buy the building and bring back Hiram Haynes Coffee House, which is what it is today. So at the time Poe visited here, which was fairly often during those years, it was pretty much like this. It had books, tables, food, wine, and so it's a work in progress. It's been open now about 2 years, and we're always evolving and always changing and growing and expanding and things. But a lot of people seem to like it and bring back a piece of history that was lost for a long time.
One of the great historic facts behind the Hiram Haynes Coffee and Ale House is that right above where I'm standing, Edgar Allan Poe and his wife Virginia Cline spent their honeymoon.
It's basically considered like a literary coffee house, so that we have writers all over the walls. It's kind of peaceful and quiet, and it's a nice place for couples to come. In the evening, we have beer and wine, and periodically have live music, and we have a little Celtic band that plays, and so it has a lot of old-fashioned feeling to it that people like.
I've been working here for about 6 months now. I really love that I could come in and get a beer, get something to eat, and be able to read all the books at the same time. And there was so much history behind just everything we have hung on the walls and just behind the building itself. Then I thought it was a little different than the average coffee house or the average restaurant around anywhere. So I really enjoyed coming in and having a good time. A lot of locals come and a lot of friends come down here. It's really fun.
On January 19th, over 200 years ago, Edgar Allan Poe was born. In honor of his birthday, Hiram Haynes Coffee House hosts an annual event to celebrate Poe's life and his time in Petersburg.
I wasn't that huge Poe fan. I'd read some of his stuff, but I went back and reread a lot of his stuff, and he was just a very fascinating character, and there are a lot of myths about him that weren't true. He was actually very athletic, and he was pretty much a normal guy in a lot of ways, and a lot of people only see the dark side, which really was not there that much. Then his relationship with Virginia Cline, his cousin, and 13-year-old cousin who he married and stayed here, that has always interested me, and their life together. And so the more I explored, the more I learned, the more intriguing it became over time. I'm hoping that we continue to expand, to offer more variety of food and drink, and upstairs I'm hopefully at some point wanting to make the honeymoon suite available for people to stay. So if there are big Poe fans around the world that want to stay where Poe stayed for his honeymoon, they can book ahead of time and stay here as well. So that's not too far in the future. Maybe another year or so I'll be able to do that.
Petersburg always seems to be revealing more and more links to the past. Hiram Haynes Coffee House seems like an interesting piece of history right in our backyard. A little coffee will be the key for the upcoming exam period next week. Here's a rundown of the schedule for midterms. Tuesday, January 22nd is a full day of school with the 6th block exam taking place in the afternoon. First and third block exam will take place on Wednesday, January 23rd. Second and fourth on January 24th, and the last exams will be 5th and 7th on Friday, January 25th. Wednesday through Friday will be an early release days ending at 11:45. Next, every PGTV News episodes begin with a statement of 29 words. But have you ever wondered why they are there? Reporter Darren England and producer Karina Smith bring you the story of the 25th anniversary of the Supreme Court case Hazelwood versus Kohlmeier.
Before 1988, media in public schools across the nation was protected by the First Amendment in the Constitution. However, on January 13, 1988, the landmark Supreme Court case Hazelwood versus Kohlmeier ruled that school administration could censor student-produced media. This set a precedent that public school officials could censor media if it does not meet the curriculum. Broadcast and print journalism teacher Chris Wagaman explains how the Hazelwood case and forum status affect student journalism censorship.
So the question is, what is a public forum? And a public forum is essentially what it sounds like. It's a forum for expression of ideas and thought. There's two ways you can establish a public forum. One by policy and one by practice. Our students here come up with the story ideas, they assign story ideas, they edit story ideas, and so the whole process is done through our editorial board. There are policies in place which determine what's acceptable and not acceptable.
Many viewers may not have noticed the 10-second clip at the beginning of this news show explaining that the stories PGTV News cover do not represent the views of Prince George County Public School District and that all the ideas are student-produced. Jojo Villagomez explains what censorship means to him.
Yeah, I noticed that the disclaimer's there, but I mean, it just kind of hangs around for about 10-15 seconds, so it's kind of really hard to miss, and if you actually pay attention, you just kind of see it there. I think it just pretty much means that, the school isn't putting up anything that's, illegal or, not school appropriate or something, and, it's just kind of putting it out there that this is for the school and it's all by the students.
Not only does the disclaimer affect what we can broadcast here at PGTV News, it also affects the TRN newspaper staff by restricting what can be printed. Editor-in-Chief Amanda Majewski talks about how all story ideas are student-produced.
Our news stories are factual because our writers do a long process of research, going to multiple sources, and getting it edited by their editors before it goes to print. We determine an expert source by what the topic of the article is on, so it can be an administration, a teacher, or sometimes we go outside the school and go to the school board or to other places.
Maybe soon, Virginia will enact new state legislation that will bring more First Amendment right back to the students. Until then, the staff will continue to practice sound ethical journalism.
On Tuesday night, the boys basketball team defeated Dinwiddie Generals for the second time this year with balanced scoring and strong rebounding. 4 Royals scored in double digits. Dre Strickland had 14, Fullman 12, Chappell 10, and Sean Broughton led the team with 17 to bring home the victory 72-58. The Royals are now 6-10 overall. They travel to take on Petersburg on Friday night. Game time is 7:30. There are no games next week during exams. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the indoor track team traveled to the Arthur Ashe Center in Richmond. The past Saturday at the Suffolk Stars Invitational, the 4x200 meter relay team of DeJuan Harding, Aaron McIntosh, Mike Caney, and Jay-Sean Screen broke a 9-year-old school record by running the race in a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds. Congratulations. In wrestling, the Royals were scheduled to compete in their last regular season district match last night at Hopewell, but that match was postponed. At the Franklin Duels this past weekend, the Royals finished in second place. The team will compete in the Powhatan Duels this Saturday and in the district tournament in 2 weeks on February 2nd at Dinwiddie. Finally, our girls basketball team defeated Dinwiddie on Tuesday by the score of 80-39. Sophomore Ariel Stevenson led the team with 20 points. This brings their district record to 8-1. They play Petersburg at home tonight. Tip-off is at 7:30. And that's your 2-minute drill.
Be sure to catch the girls tonight at home against Petersburg. They are only one game out of the first place in the district. And finally, as a follow-up to the story of the Model Judiciary group who competed on Tuesday afternoon, congratulations to both teams for winning favorable verdicts in the mock trial in Richmond. Participants will move on to a future presentation at a higher level. That's all for today's show. If you have any comments or story ideas, please contact us at pgtvnews@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for joining us. I am your anchor, Diabla Glaspie. Have a wonderful day, PG.